for me, the big thing is people, right? So I want to switch
Yeah.
up the way that companies work with their people. My motto is serve the customer, people before profit.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Championship Leadership Podcast. And we got Mike Bellemare here with us just outside of Denver with Switch It Up is the name of his company. And Mike's going to be on a TV show that I'm a part of called Boom America, starring Kevin Harrington, one of the original Shark Tank members. I'm a part of the A team, but we're excited to have you here, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get too deep into you and what you're up to and you know the things that you're doing with your company, I like to ask all of our guests. Championship Leadership's the name of the podcast. So what comes to mind for you when you hear championship leadership? What's that mean to you?
To me, it means a team or an individual that is at the top of their game, and they got a clear vision, and they lead a team with clear vision, integrity, and accountability.
Absolutely. I love that. What's well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, what you guys are doing. For those listening in right now that haven't heard of you quite yet.
Well, so my name is Mike Bellemare, and I started Switch It Up about 7.5 years ago. It was a bar napkin idea that just kind of hit me. I seen the LED revolution, as I call it, coming to fruition through blueprints, and I know technology doesn't move backwards. So I was like, I got to get on this bandwagon. It's gonna generate a lot of money. And at that time, it was just focusing on light bulbs, literally just putting light bulbs in and making a bunch of money doing it. And it's since evolved to that name, Switch It Up. And I say it all the time that the entire world is switching up the way that they use energy. They're switching up the way that they work with their people, the way they manage their people. Literally everything about our civilization is being switched up right now.
Wow.
So for me, the big thing is people, right? So I want to switch up the way that companies work with their people. My motto is serve the customer, people before profit.
Love
Uh,
it.
and it's been a rough ride, but at the end of the day, it's starting to catch, and here I am chatting with you. So
Yeah,
I must be doing something right.
that's right. So, well, what are some of the things that you guys are involved in?
So we do LED lighting upgrades, both new and retrofits, solar panels, inverters, backup power systems, EV charging stations, and we're also getting into a new device called Emp Shield that we're looking to provide and install throughout the country. So the other thing I didn't mention is Switch It Up is a national company. We've done projects in Alaska and every state here in the U.S.
Wow, that's incredible. What's the EMP Shield? What's that all about?
So Emp Shield, it's pretty much anybody that knows in your bathroom on your counter, you got a GFI on your counter where if you overload the circuit, it pops. Well, an Emp Shield is a shunt. It's essentially like a GFI circuit protector where in the event, if you had an EMP, it would absorb the shock and protect the equipment downstream. So anybody who doesn't know what an EMP is, it's an electromagnetic pulse, can be generated two ways. One, the big light bulb in the sky. The sun can generate a CME, a coronal mass ejection, with the level of an X flare that could generate a CME or an EMP and knock out satellites, radio communications, and or a low yield nuclear device generally would be done by a terrorist attack that could knock out power systems in a country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware, but the sun is hitting a solar maximum next year. 2024 is the 11th year of the solar maximum cycle, which up and down on an 11-year cycle. This cycle is ramped up where this year alone, we've had 4 X flares above an X2 that have actually knocked out radio communications in North America and have taken down a few of Elon's Starlink satellites.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big deal, but there is a way to protect vehicles, campers, homes. This Emp Shield device has the ability to protect anything that you attach it to.
What's the radius on that? Or like, yeah, how big of a
On the device or
have?
on
the
EMP?
shield? Yeah, like if I had it in my house, like.
Well, so it would literally protect anything. So in your house, you got your electrical panel, right? So if you hooked the Emp Shield, so you got your line side, that's where your power comes into your panel. You got your load side, power goes to everything attached to it. So if you put this device on the line side of your panel, anything fed off of that panel would be protected.
Okay.
And they
Gotcha.
make them for cars. They make them for RVs. And my favorite is they got them for solar panel arrays. So the solar panels itself would be fine under the EMP. It's literally just scorched copper that
Yeah.
absorbs and then sends the power down the line. Where you would have the issue with the solar panels is your inverter and your battery. So they got the device that literally goes between the panels, inverter, and battery. So in the event that the sun did pop off something causing an event,
Yeah.
your solar, inverter, and batteries would still work.
Gotcha. What EV charging stations, what, like in people's homes, or what type of charging
Both.
station?
So residential and commercial. The big one being the commercial side. That's where you'd want to put the most protection, right? Uh, it's time is of the essence with the EMP shields. That's why we're really trying to ramp it up. We never know when the sun's going to hit an X flare, but these things are readily available. And you, like I said, you can put them in your cars, your camper, your homes, and have the ability to protect. Generators is the big one, right? Anything that's generating power, those are the first things you want to protect.
So are you installing the EV stations, or is it just doing the shield for it?
No, so we are a full service electrical contractor and a national wholesaler. So we provide and install EV charging stations, the solar panels, batteries, and a full product line of LED lighting.
Man, I just got an electric vehicle here, and I wish I would have done a little more research, but there's not a lot of charging stations out there. That's for sure. I mean, and some of them are better than others, much better than others, right?
Did you get one for your house? Did you pick yourself up one to put in your garage yet?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had a outlet installed, like a 240 volt, I think, something like that.
It's pretty much just a dryer plug.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
the good
yes,
thing
I
with
do have that.
the EV stations, the car manufacturers, the top 7 have committed to starting in 24 and collectively installing a network of 38,000 EV charging stations throughout the country.
Yeah, they need to get going on that. I was like,
I mean, they're
this is
trying,
not
man.
sustainable. If everybody had an electric vehicle like they want, there's just no chance. You couldn't go on long trips. It would just be miserable. It'd be horrible the way it is right now.
The charge anxiety that everybody talks about going through the desert.
Yeah, I mean, it can
I ain't
be.
gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, I drove mine from I picked it up, and I have a good friend that he's a dealer in general manager at a dealer in Louisiana. And so I was like, I'll come down, come visit, and then drive it back up. I mean, it wasn't terrible because I was on main highways, but it wasn't great. It was just a long ass trip. So interesting. Learned a lot, but I do like my car.
And for people who own businesses, depending on the state, like I'll use Colorado for an example, because they're kind of leading the way when it comes to the LED lighting upgrades and getting incentives out there to install the EV infrastructure.
Yeah.
There's 2 programs in Colorado. One is for your small, like mom and pop shop. So if you install 2 stations, which is 4 lanyards, the state will issue POs for 75 grand per unit, or 80% max of the project. They'll literally write it up, issue a PO, you pay out of pocket, they reimburse you. And then they have another program called a Plazas program, where if you go 4 units, which would be 8 lanyards, they'll give $150,000 per unit, which includes concrete, rebar, framework, solar, battery.
Really?
There's literally so many opportunities out there where an entrepreneur can come in, if you have property, utilize this state and government funding and put these things in. But then they turn into vending machines.
Right.
People literally swipe in their card to charge. You got 80% of it paid for. Within 16 months, you got your other 20% back. And then they're vending machines of the future. You put these things in, put a little green sign, advertise for it.
Yeah.
And not only are you helping people who have EVs that get the charge anxiety, but you're also generating a business on the side.
Income. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I have to chat about that. Huh? Yeah, I didn't know that. What's up? Well, what's your background? How did how'd you decide to get into this? Was this something that you had some experience in, or just something completely new that you jumped into?
So I have a heavy construction background. I mean, I started young, right? 6 years old. My stepdad had a paintbrush in my hand. It was like if
I
you
love it.
got 10 fingers and arms that work, you're going to be helping. So
Yeah.
started in construction very early. This is actually my fourth company. Had three others before this. First two cash cows. I was young and I ran them into the ground.
Yeah.
Third one was successful. I sold it. All American Handyman,
Okay.
home improvement. But I guess I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I seen an opportunity. I didn't know how big it was going to be at the time, but um, yeah, I seen an opportunity. I know that
Yeah.
technology doesn't go backwards, and I said I
Right.
want a
Right.
piece of that
No
pie.
doubt. No doubt. What's I like to talk about like vision a lot because it's called championship leadership, and I think a lot of incredible leaders have great vision and courage to take action on it. Obviously, you have that vision of where we're going as a country, and technology is not going to go backwards. It's only going to continue to spin faster and faster. So yeah, what's the vision for you with Switch It Up, and the difference in the impact that you're looking to make?
I mean, switch it up. It started out as switch it up LED, like I was telling you. We started out just doing lights, and now we're just switch it up is the name of the company, and it's switch up the way that we're working with people, switch up the way that we do businesses with other businesses. The big motto is to just switch up the way that we're doing everything. I mean,
Hmm.
the whole world is changing the way that we use energy. We're re-engineering the way that we harness it, the way that we distribute it, and as a country uh, the people are demanding that we use greener energy, right? They don't want the
Right.
coal plants anymore. They don't want to go into the nuclear. So the technologies are there. I mean, we got this wind tech as a company that I work with. We got this wind technology, this one unit, 5 by 5 by 5, with a 4 foot vertical mast. You put this thing on a roof of a 10,000 square foot office building, and it'll power the building with clean AC power from the wind.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so where it's going is switch it up. I want it to be the leading edge of installing all these green energies, the wind, the solar, the LED lighting, the EV charging stations. But the core of switch it up is its people. Our
Yeah.
motto is serve the customer, people before profit. And the opportunity for people to come into the electrical trade, because it's all under the electrical umbrella, is just huge. People don't realize they get pushed to go get a drafting degree, and we need all that, right? but
Right.
but 60%, 70% of your high school kids, they're not going to get into that. Like these kids, if we get them to start working with their hands again, they can get into electrical. Within 5 years, they're making $45 an hour with no debt.
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
so my passion and my core behind switch it up is the people.
Yeah. Do you have contractors then all over the country?
We do, yeah. We have a large pool of contractors that we work with. I mean, currently we're in, was it New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Colorado. We got 4 states running right now between like 14 projects.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's well, let's switch it up a little bit. What I like to call it like critical moments, right? So think of a critical moment in your life where you had kind of that fork in the road, time to make a decision. You chose what the choice you made, which has you where you are today. But had you not, you'd be in a very different place in your life. I think there's a lot of power for people in those moments right now to be able to hear how others have chosen and how it's turned out for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about it enough, but before I started the company, so if you fast forward 8.5 years ago, I was living in San Diego in my truck with my dog. I had 20
Yeah.
bucks in my pocket,
Yeah.
and it was one of those moments where I'm like, all right, this sucks.
Right. Yeah.
So the plus side, it was warm, but the downside
Yeah.
is we were in
Yeah.
San Diego. My dog liked to jump in the ocean, so there's nothing worse
Oh
than
yeah.
sleeping in a confined
Sweaty
cab
dog,
with a
wet
smelly
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a defining moment. I just remember saying, you know what, California's great, but I got to do something. So came back to Colorado and dove in. I mean, it wasn't easy.
Hmm.
I jumped into an industry and disrupted a distribution industry and pissed off a lot of people when I got going. But
Yeah.
it was like you said, it was making that decision mentally and then
Hmm.
massive action. That's where
Yeah.
where a lot of people fall short is they have these great ideas, they have these visions, but massive action is everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I always
How
joke
old?
with people. I
Yeah.
say
How old are you?
40.
40. Yeah. Gotcha, man. Yeah. That's awesome. It's incredible. Um, you know, a lot of people are in those moments. They're like, man, just waiting for something to turn or whatever. But like, you know, there is hope, right? When you hear like people like yourself with those stories that were, you know, where people can relate and be like, hey, this is where I was at and look where I am today. And like, there's hope for you to do the same thing. But like you said, you got to back it up with some action, some massive action.
Massive action and accept help. I mean,
Yeah.
you can say like self-made man. The truth is behind every
No such
self-made
thing.
man, it's no, like self-made man. Yeah, you know, you might have had the drive, but there's always help. Anybody who says they
Yeah.
never had any help along the way, that's just a lie, right? You find the
Absolutely.
opportunity, you pay it forward, and the right stuff will come. And that's where the manifestation comes in, right? I'm a believer that you give to people without expectation. Other than, I mean, and then there's the fine line. Well, you know, you expect people to do the work for you. Yeah, obviously, that's the agreement, right? You exchange
Right.
time and you get paid. But when you do something for someone, you do it without the expectation of them ever giving you anything back. But on
Yeah.
the flip side, you expect the universe to deliver to you through other means tenfold what you put out. And if you
Yeah.
hold that in your heart, that's the one of the, it's like the secret sauce
Yeah.
to, to creating what you want in life is you got to believe in a higher power. You got to believe that when you do something and you put it out there with the good intent, that if you stay pure in your heart, it comes back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Definitely. What as we started to wrap this up, if there's one or two things you could leave with the listener today, you know, if they were to take action to help move their life forward today, what would that be?
I would say, I mean, it's kind of two-part, right? If you have an idea that you take action, write it down. If you got an idea for a company, for something that's going to change your life, whether it be monetary or your body or the way you eat, write it down. Write it
Mm-hmm.
down, look at it every day, and then take that massive action. And it doesn't mean all at once, right? Just every
Right.
day, do a one step to bring you just a little bit closer to what you put down on the paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. There's a ton of great ideas I've had that I didn't write down and can't even remember.
That's what
A day or
that's
two
why you
later,
got to
like, what
write
was
it
that?
down.
Oh, damn it. Should have wrote that down. But yeah, absolutely. I'll be exercising on a run or on a hike or something. And whenever I have a thought, I just open my phone quick because I always have my phone on me, of course, and throw it in the notes. And that way I can come back to it. Say, I love that. That's perfect. How can we find out more about you and what you guys are up to? You got social media, website?
Yeah, we have all the above. So if you, I mean, you can go into Google and you Google switch it up LED and everything will come up. You go to switchitupLED.com or switchitupinc.com.
Yep.
I'm owning the space, switch it up. You go into
Yep.
Google and put switch it up Denver, switch it up LED, you'll find us.
Perfect. Love it. Well, thanks, Mike, for being here. I really appreciate it. It's been great having you on.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.